Today we will understand how do we understand the scriptural statements as it is without bringing our scholarly mundane interpretations. How to understand God, how to understand scripture. Arjun is setting an example in Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna says, Sarvam etad ritam manye yanmam vadasi Keshava. Keshava, Krishna, whatever you say, I accept it. Totally I accept as a truth. Not that some part of it I accept it as a truth. Some part I have some problem. No. Sarvam etad. Sarvam means 100%. Etad ritam manye. Ritam means truth. Truth. No ambiguity in that. It is complete truth. So Arjuna says, this is how he accepts Krishna's statements. No doubts. As it is 100%, he accepts. And Prabhupada says in purport, this is how we should accept Krishna and everything about Krishna in parampara system. If we don't understand in parampara meaning, then we bring our own meaning. So recently, one of the famous scholar, Vedic scholar, at least people consider like that person. So he keeps appearing in many TV channels whenever there is some discussion about religion, discussion about God, discussion about mandir, such topics. Nowadays people invite and debates and all that, take the opinion about such a person. And that person himself is a devotee, also accept that God exists and scriptures and all that. So in one of the talk, this person told that, recently many young people, they are coming to this kind of scholars, especially he talks about his own experience. He says that many young people come to him and say that, see, we want to follow Sanatan Dharma, but some statements in the Shastras are really disturbing us. And because of this, we feel this is not at all reasonable, logic. It is not something acceptable. It's not easily digestible. So that is the reason we find it very shameful, very embarrassing to tell others that we are followers of Sanatan Dharma. So what is that? He says that, especially today our topic will be about the allegations or some of the objection raised by the so-called scholar, which who is accepted by so many people. He says that in Valmiki Ramayana, in Mahabharata, it is said that Dashavarsha Sahasrani, Dashavarsha Shatani cha. Vyasadeva. Who is Vyasadeva? Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya. Krishna's another incarnation is Vyasadeva. That Krishna, that Vishnu Rupaya, Swayam Vishnu, Krishna who is in the form of Vyasadeva, in Mahabharata he writes, Dashavarsha Sahasrani, Dashavarsha Shatani cha. That means Lord Ram in the Treta Yuga, when he ruled Ayodhya, how long he ruled, what was the Ramarajya period? He says that Dashavarsha Sahasrani, Sahasra means 1,000. Dasha Sahasra means 10,000. And then Shatani Varsha, Dasha Shatani, Dasha means 10, Shata means 100. So 100 10 times becomes 1,000. So 10,000 plus 1,000, it is 11,000. So in Mahabharata, Vyasadeva says, Lord Sri Ram ruled Ayodhya for 11,000 years. Of course, Valmiki Rishi also 7 times, total 7 times says in Valmiki Ramayana that Lord Sri Ram was, ruled Ayodhya. Ram Rajya was there for 11,000 years. Dashavarsha Sahasrani, Dashavarsha Shatani cha. Ramo Rajya Upasitva. Ramo Rajya Upasitva. Ram Rajya for this 11,000 years. So this scholar, the so-called scholar, has a problem with this statement. He says that how it is possible? How is it possible? How can anybody rule for 11,000 years? It is too long. It is too many years. It is impossible. It is impossible. And then this person is not simply like so-called atheist people also have a problem with this kind of statement. He's not saying like that. He's saying, he will give Shastra evidence to say Ram lived only for 100 years. How many years Ram was there? Only for 100 years according to him. So he wants to prove it. He wants to prove it by giving Shastra. So he is giving all the Vedas and Upanishads. So first we will understand what is the objection from his own Shastric evidence. So he says, first of all, Ram never lived for 11,000 years. It is all exaggeration by Valmiki. It is an exaggeration by Vyasadeva. It should not be taken as it is. This is the allegation. This is the objection that person makes. So to prove his point, he says, you see, Ram and Krishna, they appeared among human beings. They are Supreme Lord, that he is not disagreeing. He says that Lord Ram is a Supreme Lord. When all the Devatas went to Lord Narayana in Vaikuntha, they offered prayers because Ravana was creating so much problem. They were harassed by Ravan. So they went and complained to Narayana, please come and save us. At that time they said, please come in the human species. Because Ravana has taken some boon from Brahma and said that monkeys and human beings, except these two people, nobody should kill. Because Ravana said these monkeys and human beings are trunasama, they're like some grass. Are they so insignificant for me? I don't have to ask that I need protection from monkeys and human beings. So because he has exempted these two, Lord Narayana, you appear as human being. So Lord Ram came as human being. So how many years a human being can be there? Human being cannot live for 11,000 years. This is a wrong understanding. Simply to say how great Sri Ram, Valmiki has exaggerated and he has given 11,000 years. It should not be taken as it is. Because of this kind of statement, many young people, educated people, they're going away from Sanatan Dharma. They say that, you see, how we can accept now. We all know we stay for 100 years. How can Ram rule for 100 years? So he is giving some, so many quotations. First quotations from Rigveda. Rigveda has got 10 mandalas. In the first mandala, there is a statement which we all, generally people state this to bless people. They say that when we offer, blessings, Shataman bhavati Shatayuhu Purushaha. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, the statement comes, when you bless anybody, we bless by saying this, Shatamanam bhavati Shata Ayuhu Purushaha. So in the Taittiriya Upanishad it is mentioned Ayuhu. Ayu means lifespan. So in the Upanishad it is said the Ayu is Shatayuhu. Shata means 100. Shata Ayuhu. So Purushaha means human beings. So what is their Ayu? According to Rigveda, this Taittiriya Upanishad, Shata Ayuhu. That means 100 years. This is the first evidence he gives. Why Ram never lived for 11,000 years. Because in the Vedas it is said, your Ayu is 100 years. Shatamanam bhavati Shata Ayuhu Purushaha. It is mentioned. And then in the Aitariya Upanishad it is mentioned, Tam yat shatam varshani abhyarcha shata varshani, 100 years. So then again, so many. And next in the Rigveda it is mentioned, Shatamindu Sharado Antim. So a human life is for Shata Induhu, Sharad Induhu. Sharad is one of the season. So you live for 100 Sharad Rutus. That means 100 years, because 1 year only one Sharad Rutu comes. So that means 100 years. That is his calculation. Then in the marriage, one very famous mantra is being chanted when the marriage happens. Mangalyam tantu nanena mama jivana hetuna kanthe badhnami shubhage tvam jiva sharad shatam. Sharad shatam. Both of you live for how many years? Sharad shatam. 100 Sharad Rutu. Both of you live. This is the blessing given in the marriage. These are all in the Vedas, right? In the Vedas it is mentioned that Kanthe badhnami shubhage tvam jivam sharat shatam. That means 100 Sharad Rutus. See, in the Vedas it is said 100 years you should live. Shata ayuho, 100 years you should live. Then in the again Rig Veda it is said Shatam jivantu sharadaha. Again in the Yajurveda it is mentioned Shatam tva hemantaha. So in the Yajurveda it is mentioned you may live for 100 hemanta rutus. Shatam means 100. So 100 hemanta rutus you should live. And then again in the Chandogya Upanishad, in the Samaveda it is mentioned there is something called Purusha Vidya. So those who practice this Purusha Vidya, some benefit is mentioned for them in the Samaveda. So it is said that Pratasavanam, those who practice Purusha Vidya for Pratasavanam, Chaturvimshati Varshani, they get Chaturvimshati Varshani, they get 24 years of Ayu. If you practice Purusha Vidya, Madhya Divanam Savanam, Chatur Chatvarimshati Varshani, they get 44 years of Ayuhu. Then Tritiya Savanam Purusha Vidya, if you practice, Ashta Chaturvarimshat, 48 years you live. So total when you add all that, it comes 116 years. This is what Samaveda says. So again in the Atharva Veda it is mentioned Ayushe Sharad Shatam. There also in the Atharva Veda it is meant Ayushe Sharad Shatam. 100 Sharad Rutus, 100 years. Again in the Ishopanishad it is said Jijivave Shatam Sama. In the second mantra of Ishopanishad it is said Shatam Sama Jijivishe. You live for Shatam 100. So from Ishopanishad, Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda, Taittiriya Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, everywhere it is mentioned Shatam, 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 Shatam. Shata Ayuhu, 100 years. So when Lord Sri Ram, he took education from Vasishtha Rishi, which Vedas he studied? Same Yajurveda, Rig Veda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda, same Upanishad he has studied, and in those Vedas and Upanishad it is mentioned 100, Shatam. So that means a human being can live only for 100 years. That means Ram lived only for 100 years. Then how do you understand? How do you understand Dashavarsha Sahasrani, Dashavarsha Shatani cha, Ram ruled for 11,000 years? This is all exaggeration. According to this person, this is all because his Papa has figured out all the shlokas from all the Vedas. So he's saying, how do we understand this? So he's saying, see, how do you attract young people? Young people want reasonable logic, understand. So in our experience, we only see 100 years. We can also see Vedas are also saying 100 years. So how to understand that Ram ruled for 11,000 years? So what we should do whenever you come across this kind of statement, that you should accept it as an imagination of Valmiki Rishi, imagination of Veda Vyasa, and you should leave it. You should just discard it. Is this how we understand the scripture? What is Arjuna saying? Sarvam etadritam manye yanmam vadasi Keshava. Keshava, Krishna, everything I accept as it is. I don't doubt anything. I don't question any statements of the Shastra. If the Shastra says, Dasha Varsha Sahasrani, Dasha Varsha Shatani cha, Ram ruled for 11,000 years, he should be accepted as it is. Not that simply because in Kali Yuga some young people have a problem, logical problem, reasonable problem, they find it difficult to digest. So let us change the Shastra and let us tell 100 years. somehow, how, no, that is not the way to understand. So how to understand this we have to very carefully understand, because the whole argument of the so-called scholar is simply dependent on one word called Shata, 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 Shata. This is the only basis for that person to come to this conclusion. Shata means 100, and so 100 years. See, this is how half-baked scholars think. Those who study Shastra, those who are in contact with Parampara, they understand everything as per Shastra. Now we should understand from again Shastra, what is the meaning of the word Shatam? Shatam means only 100. Is that the only meaning of the Shatam? Sanskrit is not what we think. Like for example, in the word Atma has got 11 meanings. How many meanings? Sanskrit has one dictionary called Amara Kosha. In that Amara Kosha dictionary, for every word, the meanings are given. And those meanings should be taken as per the context. Like for example, in the 6th chapter, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, one should control the mind. When you control the mind, it will be your friend. Otherwise, it is your enemy. So there Krishna uses the word Atma for the mind. Now, Atma means what? What is the meaning of Atma? Atma means mind in that place. So 11 meanings are there for Atma. So like that, Shatam means only 100. Then what is the real meaning of the word Shatam? Shatam definitely means 100. It's not that wrong meaning, but it is not the only meaning. It has got so many meanings, and that we have to understand from Shastra. In the Shastra, in the scripture, it is mentioned Dasha, Shatam, Sahasram. They can mean not just 10, not just 100, not 1,000. They can mean multiple numbers. It can mean 1. It can, Dasha means what? Generally, Dasha means what? But according to Shastra, Dasha can also mean 100. Dasha can also mean 1,000. When you say Sahasra, Sahasra means what? Vishnu Sahasranama. We have heard Vishnu Sahasranama. That means 1,000 names of Vishnu. So the Sahasra means 1,000. According to Shastra, Sahasra can also mean 1. Sahasra can also mean 10. Sahasra can also mean 100. Sahasra can also mean 1,000. It can mean so many things. That means there is no meaning only, is it? That means when somebody reads Shastra, so somebody is reading Shata, somebody thinks Shata means 1,000, somebody thinks Shata means 100. That means anybody can think anything. No, this is not the meaning. Where it means 1, where it means 100, where it means 1,000 will already explained. Not that simply according to my imagination, I simply randomly, without any rules and regulation, I use this meaning. No, that is not the meaning. So in the Vedas and Itihasas and Puranas, they have their own language. They have their own language. These words should be understood as per the meanings of the Puranas, as per the meaning of the Itihasas, not as per the modern Kali Yuga, our problem we try to understand. That is not the way we understand. So here it is mentioned, in the Chandogya Upanishad it is mentioned, Shabdho Bahutva Vachanam. Shabdho Bahutva Vachanam Shatam iti yataschaha. Srila Madhvacharya is quoting, what is the meaning of the word Shataha? Shataha means Shabdo, the Shata Shabdaha, the word Shataha, Bahutva Vachanam. It has got multiple meaning. Bahu means what? Many. Bahutva Vachanam. Shabdo Bahutva Vachanam Shatam iti yataschaha Shrutyantarishu Bahudokti Viruddhatan. It is mentioned that Shataha has got Bahuvachanaha. It has got multiple meaning. It cannot be simply taken only 100 everywhere. That is not the real meaning. I'll come to when it should be taken 100. Shabdo Bahutta Vachanam. And in the Atharva Veda, same Atharva Veda, where that person is saying that in the Atharva Veda it is mentioned 100 here, it is also mentioned Sahasram Ayuhu. In the Atharva Veda also mentioned, Sahasram Ayuhu. The lifespan is for 1,000 years. Now, how do you understand this? If you think Ayu, the lifespan is only 100 years, Atharva Veda is saying Sahasram Ayuhu. And then, again in the Vedas it is mentioned, Shabda Shatam Dasha Sahasram Itis Maya Tasmat Tasman Hina Vachano Tatatogra Rupaha. It is mentioned that this Dasha, Shata, Sahasra, they have got multiple meanings. And what is the meaning? Dasha, Shata, Sahasram Iti Amita Namani. Well, how do you understand these three words? Dasha, Shata, Sahasra, Iti. They mean Amita. What do you mean by Amita? Amit. Amitaha. Mita means what? Limited. Amitaha means unlimited. They can also mean, what is the meaning of this Dasha, Shata, Sahasra? Iti Amita Namani. Amita. They can also mean unlimited. When you use the word Dasha, Shata, Sahasra, apart from 10, 100,000, the another meaning of these three words can also be taken as unlimited. This is also approved meaning of these words. Simply it should not be taken only as 10, 100 and 1000. Dasha, Shatam, Sahasram, Iti Amita Namani. Amita, unlimited. So you cannot simply say, oh, in the Chandogya Taittiriya Upanishad it is said, Shatayuhu, Shatamam Bhavati, Shatayuhu Purushaha. So Purushaha is for 100 years. So that means Ram lived only for 100 years. No, not necessary. This is a very, very, very limited interpretation of this. In the same Taittiriya Upanishad, one statement comes, Shatam ma pura ayasihi. There it is mentioned that Shatam ma pura ayasihi. Pura, previously, I've got Shatam ayasihi. I've got body like iron, strong bodies. I've got strong bodies. Forget about this. Shankaracharya, who comes in another parampara, he in his bhashya, when he is interpreting, when he writes his bhashya, there he says, Shatam aneka bahava. He writes, what does a Shatam means? Aneka. Bahava. What do you mean by Aneka means? Many, multiple. Bahava means what? So many. He did not say Shata means 100. He also wrote Shataha means Bahava, so many. So this one word called Shatam, 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 100 years, that is not the only meaning of the Shatam. And then this whole Valmiki Ramayana you are trying to fit into this 100. But there is a problem when we try to do that. I'll give an example. It is mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana, the Ravan, when he became very powerful, he was roaming around everywhere, defeating everybody. He was attacking everybody. He was defeating everybody. So there he came to even Ayodhya. Ravana came to Ayodhya. At that time, the Raja, the king in Ayodhya was called Anaranya. That was the name of a king who was ruling Ikshvaku dynasty, Anaranya. And so there was a fight between King Anaranya and Ravana. So that time this King Anaranya was defeated by Ravana, and Anaranya becomes very upset and he gives one shapa, one curse to Ravan. And there he says that you Ravan, somebody in the future, in the same Ikshvaku dynasty, in my own family will appear, he will defeat you, he will kill you. This is my word, Anaranya Rishi. So he was a very great person. His words will never go wrong. So same from Anaranya Rishi, Ikshvaku dynasty. In the same dynasty, go down, if you check in Valmiki Ramayana, every name is mentioned, who came after him, like this. Like Ram was there, his father is Dasharatha, Dasharatha's father was Aja, like this. You go back up to Anaranya. So the Ram came and he finally killed Ravan. So now according to this person's logic, if everybody lives only for 100 years, Only 100 years. From Anaranya to Ram, when you calculate, there are how many people? So it comes about, when you go, even if you consider every person lived only for 50 years. Even if you consider every person lived only for 15 years, not for 100 years. Chalo, 50 years only they lived. So when you calculate all the kings, how many years they lived, it comes about 1500 years. According to this person's calculation, it comes about 1500 years. That means Ravana was living for 1500 years. So now you try to fit Ram's age, Ravana's age is going out of control. If everybody in Treta Yuga lived only for 100 years, so Ravan came when Anaranya was there. So after Anaranya, so many people came, 30 generation came, so 1500 years gap Ram came. Even if you take only 50 years, if you consider 100 years, then it will be 3000 years. After 3000 years gap Ram came, after Anaranya. That is also mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana. The same Valmiki Ramayana says, Ravan came and attacked Anaranya. Anaranya told in future somebody from the same family will defeat you. So that is Lord Ram. So the gap between Anaranya and Ram is 30 generation. And each generation, if you take 100 years, it becomes 3000 years. That means Ravana was living for 3000 years. Now how do you answer for this? Simply to forcefully convince people, Ram lived only for 100 years, then Ravana was living for 3000 years. So then your logic is defeated there. So this is not to be accepted like that. Because again it is mentioned very beautifully in the Aitariya Upanishad, Etavati Sankhya Dasha Dashataha Tat Shatam Dasha Shatani Tat Sahasram Tat Sarvam. Tat Sarvam, Sarvam. Dasha can mean Shata, Shata can mean Sahasra, Sahasra can mean Dasha. This is what Chandogya Upanishad says. Dashaiva Moola Sankhyacha Tat Videdata Shatadayaha. See, again Shastra is saying. When you say 100, here Shastra is saying Dasha Dashataha. 10 times when you take 10, what it becomes? When you take 10 into 10 times, it becomes? So that means when you say Shata, it already has Dasha in that. So Shata can also be interpreted as Dasha. When you say Sahasram, in that Sahasram there are 10 times hundreds. So Dasha, Sahasra can also be interpreted as Shata. So that is what here Aitariya Upanishad is saying. Etavati Sankhya, Sankhya, this number, Etavati Sankhya, Dasha, Dasha Dashataha. Dasha Dashataha means becomes 100, Shata. Dasha Shatani, Dasha means 10, Shatani means 100. Dasha Shatani Tat Sahasram, it becomes Sahasram. Tat Sarvam, Dasha Eva Moola Sankhyacha, Tat Videdhata Shatadayaha. Like this, there are so many meanings for the word Dasha, Shata, Sahasra, right? It cannot be simply taken as only 100 years. Simply I want to convince present day modern youth and make you believe, yeah, Ramayana is correct. Rama is correct. So for then, no, if he is correct, then how can he live for 11,000 years? No, he did not live for 11,000 years. He lived only for 100 years. Why? Because Shatam, what is the meaning of Shatam? 100. That is not what Shastras are saying. In Mahabharata, also it is mentioned, Shatam Shata Sahasram cha Sarvam Akshaya Vachakaha. How to understand this word Shata and Sahasra? It should be understood as Akshaya. Akshaya Vachaka. What do you mean by Akshaya? Unlimited. Akshaya means unlimited. So Shata can also be understood as unlimited. So that means when somebody is blessing Shatamanam Bhavati Shatayuhu, it can also means you may have unlimited lifespan. It's not necessary that it is only 100 years you live. It can also mean what? Unlimitedly you can live. Forever you live. It can also means what? Forever you live. In the marriage, that shloka which we chanted, Mangalyam tantu nanena mama jivana hetuna kante badhnami shubhage tvam jiva sharat shatam. It does not mean that 100 years both of you be together. It can also means, according to all these statements, forever you people stay together. Why? Because the word Shatam, according to Mahabharata, it can also means Akshaya Vachaka. Shatam Shatasahasram cha Sarvam Akshaya Vachaka. Akshaya means forever, unlimited, not just 100. So this is trying to understand the Shastra from our level is the most condemnable. What should be our mood if you are a devotee? Whatever Arjuna is saying. What is Arjuna saying? Sarvam etad ritam manye yanmam vadasi Keshava. Keshava, Krishna, whatever you say, I accept as it is. Not try to misinterpret them. It cannot be misinterpreted like that. So, Lord Ram ruled for 11,000 years. That is the greatness of Lord Ram. It cannot be compromised. It cannot be minimized because I have a problem to accept it. God is great. Here Prabhupada is saying, when you understand the as per Bhagavad Gita Parampara system, you understand that Krishna is a supreme Lord, unlimited God, great. And how great He is, Valmiki Rishi is saying, is so great that He ruled for 11,000 years. Is so great. Ram Rajya was there for 11,000 years. Simply to make us understand, we cannot, degrade such statement. We have to be very careful. In the same Shastra, in the Valmiki Ramayana, it is mentioned how many years Dasharath Maharaj there. Dasharatha Maharaj lived for 60,000 years. If anyway Valmiki is imagining, he can imagine anything. He can give any number. Why he has to give 60? He can give 1 lakh also. He can give some 5 lakh also. No. Prabhupada answers. Prabhupada has explained many times from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto. In the 3rd canto Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned Satya Yuga means how many years. Treta Yuga means for how many years. Dwapara Yuga means how many years. Kali Yuga means how many years. Right? So, and also in that age, how many years is your youth? How many years is your childhood? How many years is your old age? Everything is mentioned. So in the Skanda Purana, it is mentioned, Ashtavimshat Sahasrani Laksha Saptadashaivavat. How much is the duration of Satya Yuga? Ashtavimshat Sahasrani Laksha Saptadashaivavat. Sapta dasha means, sapta means 7, dasha means 10. In this case, that means 17 laksha, 17 lakhs, ashtavimshat, 28. 17 lakh 28,000 years is the duration of Satya Yuga. What is the duration of Satya Yuga? Ashtavimshat sahasrani laksha sapta dashaivavat. Pramanena kritam proktam yatra shuklo janardana. This is the pramana of Satya Yuga. That 17 lakh 28,000 years is the duration of Satya Yuga. In that Satya Yuga, when somebody has taken birth, how many years is your childhood? How long you are a child? People say, how long you behave like a small child? Grow up. So in Satya Yuga, how many years his childhood was there? Tatra shodasha sahasram balatvam jayate nrinam. For 16,000 years you are child only in Satya Yuga. How many years? 16,000 years you can enjoy as a small child. In which Yuga? Satya Yuga. Tatra shodasha sahasram. Shodasha means 16, Sahasram is 1,000, 16,000 years. Balatvam jayate. After 16,000 years, you become a young person, young man. In which Yuga? Satya Yuga. After that it is mentioned, after 32,000 years, After 32,000 years, you start becoming older. Your youth is from 16,000 to 32,000 years. You are called young man, Yauvana. Before that, you are called Bala. If somebody comes to you in Satya Yuga and say, I'm 10,000 years old. Oh, it's a small child. It's a young boy, small child. That's what Skanda Purana is saying. So now this should be understood as per what Skanda Purana is saying. Not that now in Kali Yuga, I never see any person living like that. No, this word should be understood as per that. Lakshante paramam yavat. Another very interesting explanation is given. Parama is a duration of Brahma. Brahma's lifespan is called Parakala. We call it as Parakala. Para means it is Brahma's lifespan. Parardhe, we say Dvitiya Parardhe, we chant when we do Sankalpa mantra. Dvitiya Para Ardha. Para is complete lifespan. Ardha, Para Ardha. The second half of Brahma's lifespan is what we are there. Parante. Generally, it is said that your lifespan is 1 lakh years in Satya Yuga. In Treta Yuga, 10,000 years. In Dwapara Yuga, 1,000 years. In Kali Yuga, 100 years. It is basic. People can live more than this. Up to how much? Up to the lifespan of Brahma as per your punya, as per your tapasya. If you do punya, if you do tapasya, you can live more than what it is mentioned. Lakshante paramam yavat. In Satya Yuga, lakshante, ante, laksha is the end. But if you do tapasya, if you do accumulate punya, paramam, up to the lifespan of Brahma, that is some many billions of years also you can live, not more than Brahma's span. So Shastras are saying, Anyesham adhikam kvachit. Adhikam, this adhika, the more age is also possible. Not only 1 lakh years means 1 lakh years. Like in Treta Yuga, 10,000 years. But we are saying Ram is ruling for 11,000 years. No, just now it is said 10,000 years. Adhikam kvachit. You can also live more than the ayu of that yuga. Right? Then, Dvatrimshattu sahasrani yauvanam cha anupashyati. Dvatrimshat. Trimshat means 30. Dva means 2. Dvatrimshat means 32. 32. Dvatrimshattu sahasrani yauvanam. Your youth is up to 32,000 years. Up to 32,000 years in Satya Yuga, you can remain young. Can you imagine how long people want to remain young? So if you take birth in Satya Yuga, up to 32,000 years you can be young person. And then it is said, Shata sahasram jivatyayam kalo manushyam. And then Treta Yuga it is mentioned. Varshanam shannavatathyadya laksha dvadasha sankhya. Shannavat means in Sanskrit 96. Shannavat is called 96. And then laksha dvadasha. Dvadasha means how much? 12. Ekadasha, dvadasha, trayodasha, chaturdasha, like this. Dvadasha means 12. Laksha dvadasha means how many? 12 lakh years plus Shannavat Sahasradya, 96,000 years. 12 lakh 96,000 years is the duration of Treta Yuga. How long is the Treta Yuga? 12 lakh 96,000 years is the duration of Treta Yuga. In that Treta Yuga, people who are taken birth, how many years they stay? The general Ayu is 10,000 years. And in 10,000 years, how many years you are a child? How many years you are a young man? When do you become old person? Same Skanda Purana, Vyasadeva is telling, Sahasrene tu tatrasyad yauvanam rinam. Up to 1,000 years, you are called young boy only. How many years? 1,000. Child. You are called child. For how many years? 1,000 years you are called Child, you're child. After 1000 years, you're called Yauvana. Now you have entered young life. You have entered. Just see this. Shastras are saying this. After 1000 years, you become a young boy. Before that, you are a child, small child. And up to 5000 years, you are called young man in Treta Yuga. Up to how many years? Up to 1000 years, you are a child. From 1000 to 5000 years, you are a young boy, young man. After 5000 years, your old age starts. And then, Lakshastaka Pramanena Tadyugam Parikirtitam Chatushrushti Sahasrani Tatrasyad Yauvanam Runam Gate Varshe Shate Kile. In Dwapara Yuga, how do we understand? Now in the Dwapara Yuga, it reduces. The Ayu reduces. It comes now to 1000 years. So in Dwapara Yuga, how long you are called a small child? It is said that Nranam Gate Varshe Shate Kile. Up to 100 years you are called Bala. You are called child. How many years? Nowadays we say 30-year-old over. Old man you are. What are you doing? Right? But in Dwapara Yuga, up to 100 years you are called child. And we see evidence. Same evidences are mentioned. When Yudhishthira Maharaj wanted to do Rajasuya Yajna, so Rajasuya Yajna means you have to conquer all the kings. Every king has to come and surrender to you, accept your authority. So everybody, they were sitting and discussing. Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva, Krishna, they were all having meeting. They said, yeah, fine, I think everybody will accept except for one person. Who's that? Jarasandha. Jarasandha was there at that time. Jarasandha will not accept. He will come to fight. So Krishna says, don't worry. I will take care of him. Do one thing, send Bhima and Arjun with me. We will go to that his place, and there Rajagriha, that was the capital city of Jarasandha, we will defeat, we will kill him and we'll come back. So the whole world will come under Yudhishthira Maharaj's time. So Bhima and Arjun, they go to Rajagriha, where Jarasandha was there, and Krishna was there. So when they meet Jarasandha, what Jarasandha says? Let's see what Jarasandha says. He says, Kuryam naivarjuna nehaham bale naiva sangaram pancha shatabdodya hyameva cha balavat. Jarasandha is saying this statement. It is in Mahabharata, Sabha Parva, 148 chapter. There Jarasandha is saying, what is he saying? Pancha shatabdaha. What is Arjuna's age at that time? Pancha shatabdaha means 55 years at that time for Arjuna, when they went to meet Jarasandha. And Jarasandha is saying, Balavat, with this child and all, I cannot fight. He's just 55 years, he's such a Bala, he's a child. I cannot fight with this child. Jarasandha is calling Arjuna as Bala, because in Dwapara Yuga, up to 100 years, you are called Bala. You are not even entered your youth. You are not even become a young man. Pancha shatobdaha balavat. Balavat balaha. You are a small child. Arjunam Vasudevam cha Varjayamasa Magadha. Magadha king Jarasandha Varjaya, he rejected. I will not fight with Arjuna because he is a Bala, he is a child. Vasudeva, with Krishna also I will not fight, because Krishna said, see, we have come to fight with you. 3 of us are there. You can choose any one of us. You pick up any one of us and you can fight, because always fight is 1-to-1. It is never 1-to-many. So he said, you pick up any one of us, we are 3, you can fight in. He said, Arjuna, I will not fight because he's just 55-year-old young, small child it is. I cannot fight with children and all. What will happen to my reputation? Tomorrow people will say, Jarasandha defeated a small child. So people will laugh at me. Arjuna pancha shatobda balavat. He's a Bala, I will not fight with him. Then what about Krishna? He said, Matva devam Gopayiti, you're not even a king, you're a Gopa, you're a covered boy. If I fight with you, what will happen to my reputation? That one king fought with one covered boy, I will not fight with you also. But at the same time, you have to fight, because when 3 of them came, they were in Brahmana Vesha. So this Jarasandha said, oh, you're all Brahmanas, what do you want? I will give you whatever you want. They said, we have come, we want to fight with you, that is what we want. So then he has agreed already, so he has to fulfill it. So Arjuna, he says, you are a child, I will not fight. Krishna is saying, you are a Gopa, so I will not fight. Then among whoever it is, Bhima was a looking strong person. He said, at least let me fight with this person so that people will say, Jarasandha fought with strong person. So this is how Jarasandha accepted to fight with Bhima. Bhima was also a Bala only. Not that he was grown up person. The age gap between Bhima and Arjuna was 1 or 2 years. That's all. So it is not that he had become a big man. Pancha shatobdaha balavat. Mahabharata says this. See this. We have to be very careful to understand that how scriptures, when they give age, it should be understood as per the yuga. In that yuga, this is how they were living. Isn't it? And then it is said that then later when Bhima in the Saugandhika Parva, there is one chapter called Saugandhika Parva. Draupadi asked, I want Saugandhika Pushpa. So Bhima is going searching for Saugandhika Pushpa. At that time, he encounters Hanuman. Hanuman will be sitting on the way. So Bhima meets Hanuman. At that time, Bhima is simply searching for a flower. He's uprooting all the trees and throwing here and there. And so Hanuman sees this. So at that time, Hanuman makes a statement. Alpa buddhitam balyad utsadasi yanmrugan. Balyan, out of childish alpa buddhi, you're simply uprooting the trees and killing all the animals in the forest. Alpa buddhi balyad. Balyad. You are a child. Even Hanuman is calling Bhima as child, because at that time their age was like that. When Mahabharata war happened, at that time Prabhupada says Krishna's age was 120 years. Arjuna's age was almost similar to that. So and we know Bhishma lived for 800 years, because in the Mahabharata, Dwapara Yuga, their age used to be up to 1000 years. Because of the sinful activities, all the Kauravas died early because of disrespecting Draupadi. So that is why Shastras are saying, Tatrasyad yavanam runam gate varshe shate kile. So it should be seen as up to 100 years here, Balavat. Arjuna was actually a child. So this is how it is mentioned. We cannot simply understand however we want all the scripture. And then later when Hanuman sees that, okay, this is, Bhima, when he sees, oh, here is a Hanuman. And so he requests Hanuman, can you please show me when you did Samudra Langhana, when you did the Samudra Langana, at that time I heard that you assumed on huge form. Big your body became and you jumped the ocean. Can you give me that darshan? Bhima asked this to Hanuman. At that time Hanuman says, you see, that happened in Treta Yuga. Now we are in Dwapara Yuga. So what was possible? The body in Treta Yuga, it is not possible that I can show you in Dwapara Yuga. So he says that Ayam pradvamsana kalaha natad rupam astimai. That rupa which I showed in Treta Yuga is not to be shown in Dwapara Yuga, because kala has changed. And then Hanuman says, this is again in Mahabharata, what he says, Bhumi, Nadya, Naga, Shaila, Siddha, Deva, Maharshayaha, Kalam, Samanopavartante, Yata, Bhava, Yuge, Yuge. Earth changes, river change, mountains change, Devatas change, Rishis change, Kalam samano vartante. As the kala keeps changing, all these things also change. They don't remain the same. Today we are in Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, we are in the most degraded age we are living, and here people are not even living 100 years. They're dying at 20, 30, heart attack they're getting and they're dying. And so we have a doubt. How can somebody in Treta Yuga live for 11,000 years? How to understand? So here Hanuman is saying, Kala Kalam samano vartante yata bhava yuge yuge. As per yuga, kala keeps changing. And when the kala changes, bhumi, nadya, naga, shaila, siddha, deva, maharshaya, everything changes. So the form that I had in Treta Yuga, I cannot show that in Dwapara Yuga. The bodies have changed. It is not possible to be shown. Kalam kalam samasatya naranam narapungava. Kalam kalam samasatya naranam. The human beings also change according to time. Bala varshma prabhavahi prahiyanti udbhavanti cha. Who is saying this? Hanuman is saying. What is he saying? Naranam bala varshma prabhavahi prahiyanti. Your bodily strength, your ayu, your lifestyle, everything is going to change in the same. Then when Bhima heard this, oh, is it? Oh, in the Treta Yuga, what was there is not there in the... Can you please tell what happens in Kali Yuga? At that time, Hanuman speaks what all will happen in Kali Yuga. Already all this conversation comes. And there he says, Hanuman says, people will be simply living like some rats in some rat holes. Bhavishyanti tataschante manushya balasya alpatatva durbalatva cha ashakta tat griha karmani. Alpa bala. They have very less bodily capacity. Bala is very less, no strength. In small young age, people will be wearing glass. I can't see. Where is my glass? Young age. Right? Childhood only, school, primary school children will be wearing, because bala alpaha. You're seeing bala only, already in your childhood only, it is gone. Not that when you become old, oh, who has come? I can't see. Old age, you can understand, okay, bala has come down. In Kali Yuga, in the childhood itself, the bala will come down. People say, back pain, bro. I have back pain. I can't lift it. I can't sit down on the floor. Can I sit in the chair? This chair concept is, for everybody nowadays. Chair is not there. Very difficult to sit. My legs will pain. My back will pain. Why? Alpa balatvat. Why? Because we are in Kali Yuga. Already it is said. Bhavishyanti. Hanuman is saying Bhavishyanti. They are talking about future. Because this discussion happened in Dwapara Yuga. Bhavishyante tataschante. Therefore, in the future, Manushya, the human beings, Balashya, Alpatvat, their strength will be Alpa, very, very less. Durbalatvat, they'll be very weak. Ashaktat, Graha Karmani, they will not be able to manage their own family. One family maintenance becomes extremely difficult in Kali Yuga. People say, oh, Krishna married 16,000 years. We are struggling to maintain one wife, one rent we can't pay. One house we are not able to purchase. Our Prime Minister has to come up with one offer called Pradhan Mantri Griha Avasan Yojana. Because in Kali Yuga, people don't even have a house. The Prime Minister of this country should think how to give a house to these people. It is said that Ashaktat Graha Karmani, these Kali Yuga people, Bhavishyanti in future, they can't manage their own family. This is the situation that Hanuman is telling to Bhima in Mahabharata. What will happen in Kali Yuga? Such Kali Yuga people we are. And we are sitting and thinking, how can somebody live in Treta Yuga for 11,000 years? How can they rule for 11,000 years? Who are you? We are this Ashakta, Durbalattat, Manushyanam, Ashakta, Graha Karmani. We are not able to manage our own family. It is also mentioned in the future, in the 12th canto Bhagavatam, if you read 2nd chapter, Symptoms of Kali Yuga, there it is mentioned, people will go to forest and live in the rat holes. Because the house will become so difficult, they will not be able to build even a house. Already now, in the beginning of Kali Yuga only, people are not able to purchase house. They say house purchasing is very difficult. They take loan, 30 years loan, 40 years loan they take. That means their whole life is dedicated getting only one house. So that also will not be possible in Kali Yuga. So it is said that their height will reduce. It's there. Shlokas are there. Height will reduce. you come to the size of how much? Rat. And all those rat-sized human beings in the future, they'll sit down and sing, oh, people were, they were 6 foot it seems. How to believe all this? Oh, these human beings, they say that, all this, it is mentioned that some 6 foot tall person was there. How to believe? See, look at all of our, height. If these people, if they say, oh, according to their size, if they start doubting that there were human beings, it seems they're 6 foot tall, how to accept it? It's very difficult to accept it. Today we are all 6 foot tall. Now what should we all do? Just because somebody in the future is going to think according to their size, according to their weight, we are not going to match. Already Hanuman is saying like this, Bhavishyanti tataschante manushya balasya alpatvat durbalatvacha ashakta tad graha karmani ashakta durbalatvat. Going to reduce. Hanuman himself is telling what body I had in Treta Yuga, which jumped over the ocean, Samudra Langana I did. I cannot show that to you because the Kala has changed. He's saying. So in this way, we cannot, simply because some people have a problem that how to understand Ram ruled for 11,000 years because I am not alive for even 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. How can somebody rule? So Shastras cannot be changed from our perspective. Prabhupada gives Kupa Manduka Nyaya. A frog in the well, which has never seen the ocean, it is simply thinking, how can there be such a huge body called ocean? No, that isn't all imagination. So instead of convincing those people the authenticity of Shastra, as Prabhupada did, Prabhupada never did all this nonsense. According to modern day, I will give you some meaning. He said, no. In the Shastra, it is said, Laksha Varsha, Dasha Sahasra Varsha, Sahasra Varsha, and Prabhupada made same IITians. The most talented, intelligent people of our country are people from Oxford, Harvard, University people accept the Shastra as it is. This is real preaching. Not that simply I'm a scholar, I have a problem to convince young people. I find it difficult to tell, how will I tell you 11,000 years Ram was there? It's illogical, no, it is unreasonable. Do one thing, think it is 100 years. How to forcefully make everything fit into 100 years. So that you will follow Ram. When you say Jai Shri Ram, I want you to tell Jai Shri Ram, but that Shri Ram will be made into 100 years. This is concocted, misinterpreted way of reading Shastra, misguiding. Nowadays, so many such people are there on social media. They say in 33 crore devatas means not 33 crore devatas. Koti means varieties. 33 crore devata means 33 varieties of devatas. Don't tell 33 crore devatas. See, everybody is laughing at us. All these foreigners are all saying, what kind of dharma? What kind of Sanatan dharma? You people say 33 crore devatas. Where are that many devatas? Our population was only not that much. So recently we have become 100 crore. If you say 33 crore devatas, where were 33 crore devatas? Like this and all, we should not say 33 crore means 33 varieties. So this is the modern interpretation. But this is all bogus. Shastras don't tell this kind of meanings. First of all, this Dasha, Shata, Sahasra should be understood as per the language of the Puranas. The Puranas and Itihasas are telling what should be understood, Dasha, Shata, Sahasra in Treta Yuga. What is the meaning of Dasha, Shata, Sahasra in Satya Yuga? Like that only we have to understand, not according to me. Now in Kali Yuga, Shata means 100. You cannot think Shata means something unlimited, Akshaya Vachaka. No, that is not the meaning. So we, being in Kali Yuga, should not try to reduce the glory of the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord is unlimitedly glorious, and one of such glories are mentioned in Sri Valmiki Ramayana, that Lord Ram Dasha Varsha Sahasrani Dasha Shatani cha Ramo Rajya Upasitva. Rama Rajya Upasitva for 11,000 years. Mahabharata says, Valmiki Ramayana says, 11,000 years means 11,000 years. There is no exaggeration in that. You should not be trying to fit unnecessarily into a word called Shata, because Shata does not have only 100 meaning. Amita Namani, Amita, unlimited. Shata can also means unlimited. Mahabharata says Akshaya Vachaka, it can also means unlimited, many. Shankaracharya also, who does not come in Vaishnava Parampara, but he also accept. Shata means Bahavaha, Anekaha, according to Chandogya Upanishad. So we should be very careful, should not misunderstand. And misunderstanding of the Shastra means offense to the Lord. If you think Ram lived only for the 100 years, it is an offense to the Lord Ram's glory. So we should not do that. We should have a proper meaning and we should glorify the Lord without any doubts, as Arjun did. Sarvam etad ritam manye yan mam vadasi keshava. And Arjuna is saying, na deva Danavaha. Even Devatas find it difficult to understand. Rakshasas find it difficult to understand. Then what to speak of Kali Yuga people? Obviously, they'll misunderstand everything. Right? So this is one such example that how people can misunderstand Shastra and propagate some wrong meanings for sake of so-called convincing young people to take up Sanatan Dharma. If you're real preaching Sanatan Dharma means you should make people accept Sanatan Dharma as it is what Prabhupada has done. Not just Indians. Srila Prabhupada made same these Westerners, Americans who criticize Sanatan Dharma, he made them servants of Sanatan Dharma. That is the real preaching. So we followers of Srila Prabhupada should carry the spirit of uncompromising preaching. What is mentioned in the Shastra is mentioned in the Shastra. We don't misinterpret and try to reduce them because we want to make Kali Yuga people understand that. So it should be accepted as it is. So we'll stop here. Grantara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki.